a delay between messages. All right. How do I see messages, guys? Chat filter. Ooh, there's a poll. Oh, we can do shopping. What's this do? Ooh, to start a highlight. What the heck? Oh, I could put on a filter. That's crazy. How do I? Oh, no, I don't want to end it. Hey guys. I don't know who's joining, but this is my first time going live. And I am I don't even know if I could see the chat, but I'm glad y'all are watching. Let's see. Well, oh, there were 2 people, and then there weren't anyone. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to? Oh, there are 2 people. Well, I'm just gonna finish my garden and stuff. I got some lupins. I took them from home today. I am gonna mulch them. That is what it is. I don't know. I see that there's 1 person watching. I don't know if you can chat. If you can chat, honestly, you can ask me whatever you want. Or maybe I shouldn't talk. Maybe it's better if it's just like a peaceful, silent gardening tour. Not gardening tour, but a gardening video. That's a lupin. I think it's a longleaf bush lupin, but it's native to California, SoCal, and I'm putting them into these bigger buckets so that I can, someday in the future, they fix nitrogen and stuff, so I want to put them in a good spot. I'm just alone with my thoughts. I don't really know what you're supposed to do on a life. I'm kinda surprised that people are popping in and out of here. I don't know. I don't even know if you can hear me, but that's okay. It's whatever. Hey, I'm live. That's another one. Okay. So, in the gardens today, I got surprised. 3 people today. That's more than the usual. And even one, I'll call him Tom. Tom is in his final week of calculus, and he's got his calculus exam this Thursday, and he said he was for sure not coming Thursday because he was focusing on the calculus exam. But then he came along today, and that was a nice sight to see. I don't know, it's always nice to be like, whoa, I'm not alone today. Me sending out emails and like posting on the Instagram and setting their mind got people to come out to the garden. That's impressive to me. But yeah, he helped transfer over the lupins into the 1-gallon pots. And now that that bit's done, I want to work on my black sage. But let me put these. Ooh, I gotta put these somewhere else. I could just leave them on the table. They might survive tomorrow morning, but I'm not sure that they'll survive, so I'm gonna put them over there. Let's see. I don't know. Enjoying the peaceful little nature vibes. Look, I'm over here. See, I put them over here so that they get shaded just a little bit until I put them into the ground. I feel like I should be able to see anyone who has anything to say, but feel free to comment and ask any questions because I'm just doing a whatever. Or if you really just want me to be quiet and just do like an ASMR garden chores and just be all thoughts in my head, I can do that too. It's honestly up to y'all. And look at that. Let me show y'all. I wonder if I should be able to see, but look. Oh, can you see that? 18 milkweeds. I got one of the 6 trays to plant at home because, you know, it would be nice to have some monarch butterflies in the garden, but my parents, everyone older than me in the family just thinks if it's a butterfly, it will eat our greens. So they don't got room for flowers, I guess. But they grow these other like flowers that, I don't know, they're not native or anything, so I don't know. If you want to grow a pretty flower, it might as well be useful to your garden at the same time. But we got a pepper plant that I'm going to be putting in tomorrow, also with a cantaloupe, and then the 18 milkweed. Originally, I wanted to just put 12 here, but you know, whatever happens, happens. Live chat. Remember to guard your pet. Oh, there's someone who commented. Oh. Don't you need 3 milkweed for butterflies to lay on them? I'm new for milk. The people that I got the milkweed from, they gave it in trays of 6, and ideally they have each household put the 6 like within 3 to 10 feet of each other. They give 6 because you're right that you do need like a bunch of them because, you know, the caterpillars, they eat a lot and you want to give them more chances to survive. So, because like a monarch butterfly, it lays, I guess like 100 or so eggs, and then a bunch of other insects eat those eggs and only a few hatch, and then those get some caterpillars. And you know, if you have more food for the caterpillars to eat, that's really good. So I'll just say, more milkweed, more chances of mature caterpillars that turn into monarch butterflies. Yes. Seeing all the little butterflies flying around the garden is one of the best perks. True that. Okay, originally I planted 18 of them. 8 of them are gone over there. There's 10 left, but of those 10 that were left, I saw 3 monarch caterpillars like a week or 2 ago. So I don't see them anymore. They might have just crystallized and turned into butterflies, but I have seen more monarch butterflies flying around here. So I think they're finding our milkweed plants, even though we planted them just this year, and they're already using them, which is pretty nice. I'm glad I can see the chat. This is my first time doing this, which feels cliche to say, but you know, it's nice to just talk, I guess. Look, I've got some black sage. I started these from cuttings. I believe I've given them enough time to root now. And I'm gonna upsize them into bigger pots. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. Thank you for the words of encouragement. Really nice. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I feel like if I'm in a room with other people, I'm the kind of guy to like ask questions and be really curious about people. I feel like that's how I get conversations going. I kind of drop in my story as I'm like asking questions and stuff. It's just, I think it's part of my liking to learn stuff, and I feel like every moment's an opportunity to learn from another person, as long as you're willing to listen, because everyone's got like all kinds of knowledge. And you know, I just don't talk about myself too often. I keep a lot of the thoughts up in here, so any questions you have, I'm willing to share whatever knowledge I can, even if it's not as straightforward as I want it to be. I know I kind of like go around in circles sometimes, but oh wait, let me just recenter myself onto what I'm trying to do. I'm looking for the 3-inch pots, because that's what I want to move the black sage into, so that they can grow up and grow big. Let me go find some stuff and take y'all with me. Yeah, in this garden, I wouldn't say it's super organized. It's like a messy organized. Like, I remember where everything is, and I have like an inventory in my head, but you know, sometimes stuff gets moved around, and I just have to look around a little bit, which I'm fine with. You know, it might irk some people, but it doesn't irk me to have stuff all over. You know, I put the stuff away that needs to be put away, and the other stuff I leave out. Oh, you can flip the camera. Okay. I'm getting some dirt right now. Let me put y'all down over here. There's space for y'all. There really isn't space for y'all. Oh wait, I should just bring the pot that you guys are set up against. How many folks on average do you have helping you weekly? Guys, you would think that summer I had a lot of friends and stuff who also were all like, yo, it's the summer, I won't have classes, I'm gonna be available to come and help in the garden and all. And a lot of other college students were probably saying the same thing, but now that it's summer, we're open. Like, I come here and set meeting times to make sure it's like, anyone who wants to come here will have somebody to, I don't know, get help from, or like give suggestions on what to do. I perfectly set that out twice a week. And despite that, we have been getting maybe an average of like one person every week, besides myself. Sometimes we have like a little board meeting and I can get like 2 or 3 more of the board members out here to help me. But that's what it is average on weekly. I would say one other person who is Tom, the vice president. He comes out here and helps me like once a week, which is nice. We also get these 2 other people. Oh, there's this one new guy who's been coming a lot more often also. So maybe actually two people total per week besides myself, and then one besides me per day. Today I got lucky. There were 3 people. Inside here is a mix of clay with compost, and I'm putting it into these buckets. Ooh, I don't think I want to put it into this bucket. This one's the one that one of the professors gifted to us, and she wants it back. I haven't quite arranged. We haven't spoken on how she will be getting it back. I don't know if she is gonna come to the garden or something like that. But yeah, so I don't want to be using that pot, so that whenever she is available to get it, she'll be ready to just come in and take it. Huh. These pots might actually be a little too big. Like, I'm imagining a full-on sage in this, and I don't imagine it taking up this whole pot by the time I want it to move out. That feels like a little too much soil for it. Yeah. Just to let y'all know, I probably plan to be on here for maybe like 46 more minutes until about 2 p.m. And then that's when I go home and get lunch. So feel free to ask me any questions that you have, because I'll answer them right away, to the best of my knowledge. I don't know, it might be like, you might have other kind of gardening questions. I'm willing to answer that also, of what I know. My knowledge is pretty limited, but I might know some permaculture stuff. I've been reading this book called Gaia's Garden, and it's kind of an overview of a bunch of permaculture stuff, and might be able to share some of that knowledge with anyone who's willing to learn. Take y'all over here. Let me take y'all over here. We're back to the propagations table, guys. I'm actually not entirely sure how I want to do this. You know what's kind of nice about being a gardener? You can have those moments where you just... I do a lot of like standing, staring off into the distance, and then just thinking. And I kind of like plan out what I want to be working on that day. And you know, some could argue that that feels like it's wasting time to just kind of like take the time to prioritize and stuff inside my head. By some could argue, I mean like I think about that sometimes of like, am I really saving time by thinking about it instead of just YOLO working it and fixing my mistakes as I go? It really is. It really... My gardening efforts are not that organized, and I'm pretty positive that other people can do it better. But my plus side is that I still go and do it, even if I am struggling. I should have brought just a bigger pot of the soil. Honestly, maybe it would have been nice just to have the full wheelbarrow over here. Just want to make sure that you guys can see what I'm seeing. We've got a pot here with some potting soil. I've dumped it into there for future use. I'm gonna get more of the other soil. A comment. What would be your tips for finding workshops? Do I have to reinstall Facebook? Okay, Jackie, I do not ever use Facebook to find workshops. From Facebook, I mainly use it for my Buy Nothing group and my Free Cycle group. And that's basically like within my town or within the local area, people are giving stuff away, like, oh, I don't need this anymore. So that's the only plus I have for using Facebook. I did my first things like last week. Hi, Bella Cat. I did my first things last week of like picking up stuff. That's how I got this burlap board over here. I got this from my Buy Nothing group. Basically, I'm gonna put this inside the shed and we're gonna hang like, we could hang plans for the garden. I don't know, like a wants list or a needs list, you know, ideas for the future, even like cute little Polaroids or pictures is what we can use this for. I got that from the Buy Nothing group. And I also got some logs. And basically, everything's free on there. It's just kind of like, oh, it's like sharing with your neighbors and stuff, sharing with strangers. What would, uh, tips for finding workshops though. I use Eventbrite. When you are researching, I found my first workshop by researching native plants. I did research on native plants. I was looking up ceanothus or California lilac. I saw a thing. I saw on Reddit, someone mentioned a nursery that was doing a workshop. And then I looked that up, found their thing on Eventbrite. And then from that workshop, you know, the guy leading that, he told me about another workshop that was closer to me. And basically, you know, it kind of connects through that. You could also look up things like maybe like environmental volunteering, and that could lead you to local nonprofits that do like environmental stuff. And sometimes they do give away plants and stuff. Like Tree People, I'm pretty sure they do give away plants. I volunteered with one of their workers and she was like more than willing to give me some bladder pod and stuff if I wanted. I was volunteering at LA Compost, a nonprofit that basically teaches people how to do composting and gives away free high quality compost. Yeah, I would just start with that. I don't know, you just have to find your in. You find one in and then suddenly it's like, oh, they know this and they know that. And then it's like, you know, I'm part of like an LA Compost Discord server at the Cottonwood Urban Farm, the place that I do my compost volunteering, and they kind of share workshops through there. I hope that's the most helpful. You might be able to do more stuff by going on Instagram. I'm sure people are advertising through there, but I'd say it's pretty luck-based. Luck-based, after you find one, and then you find more. Eventbrite, you can set it to your location, type in, I don't know, gardening or plants. That'll pull up some free stuff. Yeah. Who is my BF? Billa, I don't know about that one. I don't know. I don't think I've ever referred to anyone. If it stands for best friend, I have no plans to marry my best friend. If it stands for boyfriend, I do not have a boyfriend. Marriage? As soon as I can, I will want to get married. Let me go fill this up. You handled the question. Thanks, Jackie. I appreciate it. Honestly. Dang, it would be kind of cool if I could like, I don't know, I feel like it would be nice to just add someone else. I don't know, maybe you would be camera shy. I don't want anyone to like show their face, but it would feel nice to just kind of have like, just be able to talk with another person, just kind of get to know each other, just for the lulz, It just feels nicer and more natural to be able to talk to someone else. It's kind of strange how other people, maybe not strange, but you know, strange, not in a bad way, but strange for I just don't know how they do it, how people can just talk and talk and then, you know, go on and on. I'm more of a think in my head guy and then randomly make weird noises kind of guy. Let's go get some water, guys. I'm gonna go fill up a watering can. You know, I don't know if y'all have like, if y'all are like my viewers or something, or like people who have watched my channel often, but you might have noticed that I haven't been posting shorts as often. I used to post them every single day, but then I've been slowing down. I don't know if doing YouTube's entirely what I want to do. I was kind of having a moment of like, dang, do I really want to be doing this for, I don't know, the next few years into my life? But then I kind of thought about it and I thought, if I focus on my mission to kind of spread like environmental awareness and, you know, consciousness, if I put that as my mission and kind of focus and make sure all my shorts kind of add into that in some way, I might feel more fulfilled. And that's kind of how I want to do it. You know, my biggest reasoning for gardening is not so much, okay, maybe it is a lot for the food, but I want to encourage more people to grow their own food so that that cuts down on pollution and, you know, emissions, energy use and stuff. The more people that grow their own food, you save stuff. You save stuff. You hurt fewer people is what it boils down to. So I like encouraging people to grow food locally. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading so that, you know, when I first started the garden, I was kind of just like, okay, one plant, keep it alive, that's all good. But now I'm like, okay, now I have a plan kind of for the garden. Most of it is gonna happen during the winter because I do not want to be boiling out here, and I don't want anyone else to be boiling out here with me while we try to turn this garden into a food forest. I have big plans. I'm gonna do like a lot of cuttings and stuff, and then from there, I'm gonna just prune the tree carefully. So I'm not gonna specifically buy dwarf varieties, but then that's how we're gonna, yeah. I don't know where I'm going with that, but yes, I said what I said. What's the temperature like? I do watch your stuff though, subscribe and stuff. It's nice to see the beginning of things. I feel people are more impressed with the end product. Jackie, I agree with you. I feel like so many times when I like trying to post a video, I'm like, dang, I don't have a nice end product. Or like, I got this good thing started and then the plant died. Or it's like, now what? Do people want to just see a story that ends with, and then it died? No, that's like funny a few times, but it happens so often in my life that I feel like nobody would want to watch that at some point. And let me see the temperature here. Right now, I think it's like 80 something. Summer gets pretty hot. The area that my school is in is a little closer to the beach and the shore than my home is. So it stays like maybe 5 to 6 degrees cooler here. I would say the temperatures right now are around 85, 86. Under the pine trees here, it gets a little cooler and there's a nice breeze and everything. So I could even go to say that it like drops down to 80, but in general, this area says it ranges from like 80 to 90 something. When the planning and beginning is summer. Oh, yeah. The planning and beginning. I feel like there's a thrill to the planning and the beginning. Like you get to a point, I was watching this video on like jacks of all trades. Like people really get into something and then they hit a hurdle, and that's usually the point where a lot of people are like, you know what? I think I want to switch and try doing this thing. But you know, then you can't really like dive into and become a good master at what you were originally doing. I feel like I hit that point with gardening where I was kind of like, do I still want to do this? or like, I guess the gardening YouTube. Like, I would still tend to the garden because I think I'm too deep to pull out now. But I was like, maybe I should just stop the YouTube and switch over to something entirely different, like making music or something. But I was like, nah, I've already gone so far, and I know some of y'all are pretty committed and even want to watch if I'm doing just boring plant tasks, which I'm really happy that you're find that amusing in some way. I guess it's part of that slow living kind of thing. Hello from Belgium. Oh, hello. How would I say that? Jamila? I don't know if you would pronounce the D in that, but Jamila's my best guess. Hello to Belgium. I'm located in California in America, just to let you know. So hello from here. Does Belgium have like a language, like its own national language? And what would you call that? Is the language of Belgium, is that, like, I know y'all are located in, wait, is that a city? Wait a second here. That might be a city. I am not bad with geography. I know enough about things to get by. But speaking of someone in Belgium knowing English, that's the place that people always talk about with chocolate. Being from Belgium and knowing English. One of my friends, he was talking about how like big American culture is, and you know how English is such a prevalent language. Like, American culture is so worldwide, and I was like, huh, why? And he was kind of saying that it was like kind of a bad thing because they would kind of favor American culture over their own country's national culture. And I was just kind of, where am I going with that? I was thinking about it, and you know, I feel like American culture is just an amalgamation of the world's cultures. Except I guess for black culture. Black culture is very within America, like the hip hop and stuff. And they have, you know, the history of enslavement and everything. But besides that, I feel like a lot of American culture pulls from other cultures. So it's like, is it weird that people like American culture? Because, like, I don't know, isn't American culture just made of what their culture is? Like, it just feels like it all interweaves together at some point. 3 languages, a country above France. Oh, okay, so Belgium is a country above France. I know where that is, or at least I think it is, but I think I know where that is. It's kind of cool, there's 3 languages, 3 national languages. Wow. What would America's 3 national languages be? It would probably be something like English, Spanish, and... or maybe just English and Spanish. If we did have national languages. We don't, despite, although the citizenship test is only in English. So, you know, kind of questionable. People bring up that point a lot. I'm in Texas, and here everyone already gave up on their garden due to the severe heat. I feel for you. Honestly, I would suggest, in food foresting stuff, they get more shade plants. In the book I was reading, it was like, some plants, they say like, oh, they need full sun. But if you're in somewhere like, I think it was anywhere south of 40 degrees latitude. So like, I feel like all of Texas is south of 40 degrees latitude. They said partial shade is basically just as good as full sun. Like a northern area's full sun. Because the heat and sun is so strong in like partial shade hours that it basically would give enough for your plant anyway. So I guess a way for you to adjust for that is I would suggest putting in more big trees and not to space them too close together. You want to give good airflow between your plants, because the closer your plants are together, they'll trap more heat. And also, if you have a lot of rocks, that also traps a lot of heat. So you want to introduce a lot of organic matter, a lot of mulch, and that should regulate your temperatures a lot better and keep it cooler than what it really is. And something like partial shade will give it just enough sun to grow and be happy. If you want to do that for next year, I'm just suggesting that. US, a melting pot due to historical immigration. Yeah, melting pot, or they call it a salad, I think. It's kind of, I feel like it has characteristics of both. That's why people always bring up both. It's like you get to have both in the same meal. Like a buffet, which America is also really known for, isn't it? For our buffets. The weather in Belgium is also crazy this year. Too many rains, so a lot of snails. I lost a lot of plants. Wow. That's kind of... It's interesting to know that it's like, wow. Over here it's like dry, no rains. Not a single drop of water from the sky for like miles. And then over in Belgium, you're all like, always raining. And you know, you have a different problem with snails. I don't know what to do with snails. I don't know, maybe. I usually look into like permaculture stuff for a lot of solutions, because naturally the environment should be able to balance itself out. So if you have a lot of snails, wouldn't that mean that you should also have a lot of like the predators that eat snails eventually at some point? Because like nature's all about balance on its own. I wonder what naturally eats snails, if there's some way you can kind of encourage those, or maybe build homes for them. Like if certain bugs eat it, maybe you can make bug hotels. And maybe that will take care of some of your snails. Usually, yeah. Because if you just go towards, oh, birds. Maybe more bird houses. Maybe you bring like, okay, I don't think you would need a bird bath with all the rains you get, but some bird houses would be nice. Maybe some like nesting material for them. Maybe there's like certain plants. I know there's certain plants that have like a lot of like dense, oh, bushes, big bushes, I think, are also really loved by birds, because birds can like nest in them naturally and hide in them. Or maybe, I don't know. I know it feels, since you said you lost a lot of plants, I assume it's a lot of like the annuals and edible stuff. Maybe, I don't know if you're already diving into plants that aren't necessarily edible. Maybe you could aim for something like a berry bush. The slugs might leave the leaves of those alone. Plus, birds would like to nest and eat the berries in that bush. So you would get a share of food from it, the birds would get a share of food from it, and the birds would also go and pluck off any snails from the rest of your plants. Hypothetically, that's maybe how I'd go about things. I know you could try to like treat the symptom of the snails by trying to like individually squish them, or like, I don't know, put like snail repellents or like eggshells and stuff. But in the long run, that will just take you a lot of time, is what I'm saying. You ever think about passion fruit vines? I hear they're great. Jackie, you know what's up. I watched the video within like last week or the week before about passion fruit, and I'm thinking of putting it on top of the shed, because in the shed it gets like to 110 degrees, because that shed is gray sides and black roof. That is just traps all the heat inside it, and that's just so uncomfortable for anyone to be in for any period of time in the summer. So I'm thinking of putting passion fruit vines on top of that so that it could stay cool year round. And then on top of the greenhouse, it also gets super hot. So I'm thinking we could put something deciduous. So in the summer, it will make the temperatures more mild so that we can still kind of use it as like a high humidity area. But then in the winter, the leaves will fall off, and then we could use it to start the normal seeds and have the greenhouse warm with more sun. So yes, I have thought of passion fruit vines. My parents have it at home, and at first I was like, why are you growing passion fruit? That feels so low yield, because we were literally just getting like 3 in a whole year, and they have like a full 10 by 10 trellis of it for it. But then, you know, with learning and everything, seeing how people have squished a passion fruit between like a fence, and then there was like an inch or 2 inches of soil, and then sidewalk, and they squished the passion fruit right there, and then it trellised up this whole thing. something that's good, that good with limited space, you know, I want to take advantage of it. The birds. The French naturally eat snails. I think that will depend what kind of snail. Don't just go eating any kind of snail. But I'm sure they have a very specific kind. Sunflowers will attract birds too. We have a huge sunflower right now. Like, it's this big. Supposedly they're good to harvest when the back has turned brown. I do not. I'm kind of waiting on that. I'm like, I feel like I should wait until it turns brown, but if I leave it that long, like, it's been losing flowers and some of its seeds already, because I think the birds are getting super hungry and impatient, and they're going over there and just chomping out bits of the sunflower already. So I might need to harvest it earlier than the back turning brown. I'm thinking of looking at it again and maybe chopping it and then leaving it out to dry on Thursday. But if you guys have ever grown sunflowers, I don't know, I could use a little tip on how to know when it's actually harvestable, because the seeds look like they formed. I can see the full seeds, but they're kind of like, you know, I picked one off and it was still kind of like squishy a little, and it wasn't as dark and like, you know, prominent black stripes as like this sunflower seed that I planted was. But yeah, it's a humongous one, just to let y'all know. Jamila knows how it is. Birds. Thanks. It's all about playing better for next year. A lot of rain and snails are difficult for commercial farmers. It was on the news here. Dang, so you had like a full country problem. But I don't know, I feel like with a full country experiencing that problem, there's gotta be a ton of, like, a handful or maybe more than that. Like, think of it, a full country. You gotta have like at least maybe like 1% of the population that's figured out how to deal with those rain and snails and stuff. But it's like, they just haven't found a way to like share it with other people or something. Like, maybe they're not necessarily gatekeeping it, I feel like, but I feel like, you know, not everyone's like, oh, let's bring it to YouTube and share it to the world. Or sometimes even on YouTube, it's like, YouTube won't suggest that to you because it's like, this is such a niche thing. Why would you get that kind of information on here? But I feel like you've got to have, if it's happening a whole country, there's got to be someone. There's got to be someone who knows an answer, maybe even on Reddit or something. Because information is crazy these days. Everyone knows something about something, you know? It's just a matter of finding it. I'm getting thirsty. For your sunflowers, can't you cut them and have them dry to the brown color? That's what I was thinking, Jackie. I'm thinking that's what I can do, because I feel like I've also seen that on TV of people just like slashing the sunflower and then slamming the top of the sunflower on the slash part so that it naturally dries out. But I'm kind of being it my first time with it, and it being our only sunflower in the whole garden that survived and actually has the humongous thing, I'm kind of hesitant on doing it too early. Because if you do it too early, you can't turn back the clock and be like, shoot, let me just suture and surgery it back together so I can keep growing. But if you do it too late, there's not really a too late, because it's like, oh, if it's too late and it falls off, it's like, maybe I lost a few seeds. As long as the birds don't come and just like demolish the thing if it naturally falls, then I lean more towards being too late, because it's never really too late, I guess. Maybe hang it on your Facebook board. That's a true thing. That's a true. I don't know if that Facebook board can actually support that much weight. I'm thinking if I do harvest it, I would just take it home. What is your favorite thing to grow? Okay, by Running Red, what is your favorite? Hi, Running Red 54. What is your favorite thing to grow? I would say garlic, because the garlic kind of did well, but Man, that's such a broad question. Favorite thing to grow? Because I feel like my favorite thing switches based on the things. Like, I can't ever have beans be my favorite because I think we have squirrels that eat them. Like, look over here, guys. I put it on an elevated surface. I started it in its container, and some animal came by, jumped onto this elevated surface, and just like ate all the leaves and stuff. You know, it's like if I put it on the ground, it gets eaten. If I put it on an elevated surface in a pot, it gets eaten. So it's like, that's why my favorite moves and stuff. It can't always be the same thing. Because if I love one thing too much and then it gets eaten, I'm like, wasn't pest proof enough, no longer my favorite. I think I like the lupins, like this one here, because I know a certain species of them, you can get lupini beans, which are like the highest protein bean, even more protein than soybeans, which is like wonderful if you're on a vegan plant-based diet. But these are also nitrogen fixers. So, if you had like a fruit tree or something that needs that nitrogen and you want it to naturally be fertilized on its own, you would place like something like a longleaf bush lupin right next to it. That'll give fertilizer and the nutrients to the plant while it's growing on its own. And it has pretty flowers. I really like the nitrogen fixtures like that. But also, I think I'm right now, I'm in like a kind of berry phase. I want like raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. That's what I want. So that's what I would say. Even though I've never grown it yet, I would say that's my favorite because it's the dream that I'm chasing after right now. Yeah, that's how I'll say it. The sunflower is also really good. If more of our sunflowers could survive, I would say that's my favorite thing to grow. A lot of flowers are like, at first I was like, man, these things are pretty useless. But when you look around and you realize the flowers are the only things that the gophers, snakes, rabbits and stuff don't eat, you're kind of like, maybe I am a flowers person because, the flowers help the insects and wildlife and stuff, and they don't get eaten. Oh, I should say peppers. There's like 30 peppers on that table right now. And I got like another 6 or 7 at home. Peppers are up there because I feel like my parents have been able to, they don't even bring their peppers inside. They just leave them outside on the side of the house and they survive through the winter. So I'm hoping that it stays warm enough over here, or if I mulch it enough, it'll stay warm enough, and then I can get like the same pepper to stay another year. I really like perennials because I want to be able to grow it once, keep it going. Wait, US is a big country, so different climates, but Belgium is tiny, which makes it a whole country problem. Oh, that's good to know. That's like a different perspective on things. Because I'm so used to like, oh, big country, Some small countries might be like, dang. I wonder if that makes Belgium more united to have like problems that affect the whole country. Because I feel like in America, a lot of areas get like, what's that word? Like they get ignored or like disinvested in because it's so big. It's like, yeah, we can ignore that area and like help improve this area. But if it's like someplace like Belgium, it's like, oh, all the climate affects the one thing. I feel like y'all would be more likely to focus on something like climate change, I guess. And I feel like maybe that's a plus to being a smaller country, that your government might care for y'all a little bit better. What is your favorite thing to grow? Oh, I already answered that question. Do you keep a book wherein you write what grows well and what not? Jamila, I keep it all in my head. It's all in my head, and I tell people who come here and stuff. I know, as I'm doing it, I know like cilantro and California poppies. Gophers love that. They'll chomp those up. I don't need to write it out. Or I guess I could write it out, but that would take time. But if anyone were to ask, I could literally just pop it all out. But maybe I should, for the sake of future leaders in this garden, I think it would be a great idea to keep a book of what grows well and what doesn't. Yeah. I'm not sure if it would help like all of y'all because, climates and stuff being different. But if you want me to share that thing, write out some stuff, that would be good. What's your least favorite thing to grow right now? You should try to grow huckleberries. Huckleberries. I feel like I saw somewhere with the seeds for that, but I don't know if it's a perennial I might have, I don't know if I saw that for that specific seed. I was looking on rare seeds, also known as Baker Creek heirloom, and if they said huckleberries on it, then I might have had a reason for not doing it. I know I want to start with a berry that's easy to grow first, within our climate and everything, with the limited water that we have. But I'll keep that in mind. Huckleberries might be on my list, and I just might have forgotten that. My least favorite thing to grow. Man, am I even like doing the plants anymore, guys? I'm just talking to y'all. I am not a multitasker, guys. When I talk to people, I just focus on talking to people. Like, I have to do something that doesn't require my brain. That's why I'm more of a listener, because other people can do the talking. Other people know how to talk and do stuff at the same time. I'm just kind of like, I want to get this right. Let me get this right. Least favorite thing to grow. Let me think about that, guys. But first, I want to take out the sage. It even smells like sage. Dang, look at those roots, guys. Look at those roots hanging off. All of that from sage cuttings. How's it look down there? Ooh, she looks good. She looks good. Now let's hope I can divide it up and keep them alive. You want to keep as much of the soil clasped to those roots as you can when dividing them up. Y'all might probably already know that, but that was something new for me. Like, when you pull all that soil off, you're basically, it might look like the root is still connected, but I feel like, mentally it would be like putting a finger into your brain and wobbling around in there. Like, that brain might still be intact, but I'm sure you did damage that you can't even see. That's what it's like to separate the roots from the soil from the roots in any way. Like, just seeing it come off a little bit, I'm like, oh, I don't know if you will ever come back. Shadi, I hope you come back. I'm just gonna focus on this real quick. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not a huge multitasker. I'm just kind of separating it between these right now. We got those. Those can go in there. One can go in here. Let me think about what my least favorite thing to grow is. I guess stuff that's really finicky I don't like. Like winter savory. I've been wanting to get that up and going. I bought a seed packet. Tried planting that. It didn't grow. I bought another of the same seed packet. Tried again in more, specific seed starting conditions, and they still have not come up that well. So it's not that, maybe it isn't my least favorite, but it's like, why is this seed so dang hard to grow? Everything else in the same conditions, same size and everything is popping up. Why are you not popping up? Why are you so picky? I don't like the picky plants. Least favorite. Probably the beans. Not because the beans in itself are bad, but because of how the animals like the beans also. The animals like the beans more than I'm willing to protect it. Because, if the animal really likes it that much, y'all can take it. You love it more than I do. I do not have the time to come in here every single day of the week and be all like, nah, I want this bean. You don't get to have it. I'm gonna fight you for it and put up chicken wiring everywhere. I do not. I'm not gonna all-in approach to this garden. I want, balance. You have to balance. Nature balances it. When humans get involved with things, usually we forget about balancing and we're all like, how do I maximize this? How do I make it most efficient? How do I make it so that nothing ever dies? And it's like, bruh, you trying too hard. Like, I'm trying, but I'm trying the perfect amount is what I'm aiming for. I don't want my life to be in this garden. Like, if I put so much energy, then I'm like, oh, I have to be in here every single day. Imagine if like a crisis happens and then I come into and then I'm like after the crisis, I might be like, ugh, everything's already lost. I couldn't tend to it for a whole month. Everything must be dead by now. And, if I was like tending to it every day, it probably would have died if I leave it for like a month. But if I have like a more hands-off approach and I like prepare for that, by the time I come back, I'll probably be like, the garden will probably be fine. And that's what I kind of want to aim for. The best leaders set up the place so that in the future, the other people will do well too. That's kind of what I'm going off of. I want this place to be set up well for future people, future students to still get food here and everything. That's why I want to start like focusing on the perennials and the fruit trees so that like, those things can be watered. Like, those things could be like unwatered for the entirety of spring as long as I set up a good sheet mulch. And then when I come back, and then if there are people in the summer, they would probably just need to water it like once a month, maybe like once every other week. And that would be pretty ideal for having people here in the garden and all. Okay, let's take another question. You should try to grow huckleberries. Love huckleberries. Okay, I will remember huckleberries. Politics. Oh, artichokes are perennial in there. Just give them enough room. Artichokes, is that different than Jerusalem artichokes? Because I know Jerusalem artichokes are native, and the secretary of the club, she started a little Jerusalem artichokes in containers over there. I'm pretty sure they're different from artichokes, but I feel like I've seen some things online. I think it was Epic Gardening or something. They did artichokes and they might have not liked it. So I'm kind of like, because of that, I'm a little iffy on it too. I'm like, will that be good? Will artichokes be good? And also like, I'm not even like a huge fan of artichokes. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good pickled artichoke. But in growing an artichoke, that would be something I don't normally eat. Like, I might get around to it at some point if I find like it has a benefit for the environment or something, but it's not necessarily something that I want to have all the time. Especially since you mentioned as long as you give it enough room, that sounds like it'll use way too much room for the food that it gives off. I got beef with rare seeds and they're Passiflora edulis. What is that, a Passiflora edulis? Passiflora, that's like in the passion fruit family, I think. I think I've heard about that, but does that mean, should I have beef with the Passiflora edulis? Is that what you're telling me? Don't go after that. Your clay, your soil, passion fruit. Okay, that is a passion fruit. What do you think? Should I have beef with the Passiflora edulis on rare seeds? Should I try to get my seeds from somewhere else? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now? Because I'm always, if I always read the reviews on the seeds before I get them. I always read the reviews. I'm like, will it work? Will it not work? Other people within the same zone. I love the people that write reviews. They're so good. They're so like selfless. The people that write the good and the bad, lovely people. Absolutely lovely. Oh, my back's giving out. See eye to eye. It's like fire and rain. They gave me really short cuttings. Oh, you got cuttings from them? I didn't even know you could get cuttings from it. But now that I know that, maybe I'll stay away from any cuttings that Rare Seed gives. I've got like 3 more of these guys. 1 artichoke plant to experiment and get to know the plant. You're right, Jamila. That might just be what I need to do. Just to see how it grows. You know, it's always nice to be like, oh, all right, I learned how to grow it. That's always a nice thing to be able to say, and then, you know, you can give tips and stuff. Man, I feel like I'm handling these so wacky because I'm trying to talk while doing it. I'm not a huge multitasker, which I feel like is a good thing because multitasking does not exist. Like, you either have your efforts focused on one thing or you're distracted by multiple things. People are designed to be one thing at a time kind of thing. And that's why I kind of like gardening. You have to be really patient, and you kind of build that patience, and then it pays off in the long run. They sold them as cuttings, but they gave the shortest cuttings, and you need at least 10 inches for them to prosper, I read. Dang. That's not good for their business. Now that I know that. Well, I guess I might be a little lucky that my parents already have it, you know? But I'm also thinking of like asking my Buy Nothing group to like ask if they have any cuttings, you know? Because I don't want to have to buy everything, you know? There's a gardener. There's got to be a gardener near you. There's got to be a gardener within like a mile of you. And knowing that, like, you could literally just like travel from house to house and people would be willing to like give you a piece of the plant. So that's what I want to start doing. Just kind of ask around. I don't know. Maybe find someone. Maybe if I even see it like over their yard, like people like to feel like, people like compliments, right? If you see a humongous beautiful thing in their yard and you're like, I want some of that, literally, it might benefit you to like go up to the door, knock, and be all like, yo, tell me about that. How did you do it? That huge tree in the back. And I feel like people would be willing to give. So maybe I can do that with the huckleberries, and then maybe you can do that with the passion fruit. Because instead of trusting this like, I don't know, this company, like, look, did they really look out for your well-being if they gave you the shortest cuttings that weren't even like a good length to prosper? But if you go to like another person's place, they'll be able to give you, you'll be able to see them. You'll be able to be all like, it didn't take. And then they would be like, and they would probably give you more. They sold them. It may be my ineptitude. Don't say that, man. It may be. Like, I probably think the same thing, but like, growth mindset, guys. We can always push past it. The carnivorous plant starts were great. Oh, the carnivorous plant starts were great. Oh, interesting that you got into carnivorous plants also. Well, who knows? I'm just a big local guy, I would say. Anything that you can get local, I would support. Because hey, it's usually cheaper. Because local means you can literally ask your neighbor or like even that stranger. I know we're like kind of taught, don't talk to strangers. But honestly, I watched this other video, talking to strangers, that can literally give you a boost. That can boost your happiness to talk to the people around you, to get to know your neighbors and stuff. Not even like your close neighbors, maybe even like someone down the street. Or like someone you might never see again, you know? Just get to know them randomly. And that just like boosts you. Because humans are like super social and all. Even if you never see a person again, like it sticks with them in their health when you're like nice to them. And it sticks with you in your health when they're nice to you and you're nice to them. I'm a beginner and that's my motto. I feel like I said a lot of things. And I feel like it's something positive that you chose to be your model. And I love that. Plants are expensive, so that is a good way to go. Thank you, Jamila, for agreeing with me. It might seem like more effort in the start to be like, oh, talking to people when I could just be antisocial and order it online. But you know, ordering online, you have to wait for shipping. That has all its emissions and, you know, pollution and stuff. And then it's also like, what if it's bad? If it's bad, now you're angry at an entity that won't even respond to you, and that, like, unless their customer service is really good, but like if they have like a ton of money, they're not gonna help you out that much. But if you do it all in person and you get to know your neighbor, like if something turns out bad, then your neighbor or like whoever gave you the cutting will be like, oh, what is it? What could have gone wrong? How can we improve it? How do we make it better? That's what happened with the persimmon cuttings or like the mulberry cuttings that I got from the compost hub. They didn't take well, and they were like, oh, dang it. We should have done it like this instead. You know? And then next time they have mulberry cuttings, we'll just take some from there. All right, no new comments. I'm caught up for now. It's 2:03, guys. I should probably be dipping out right now. I am gonna pack up my plants and then pull out. I hope all the sage survives. We'll see. These are the YouTube live sages. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different pots. If all 9 of them survive, then that's great. Then that's great. That's awesome, actually. That's what I'll say. That is awesome, diggly dawn, cool. Wow, I've been here so long, the sun has moved. It has moved so that it's no longer shading me. They're cuties. All plants are cuties. I feel like you might not be able to see the plants right now, but I'm gonna water them. Always good. I've heard some, like, from my comments that I read from y'all, there's some mixed thinkings on whether you should water, like when you should water while transplanting. Some people, they water before they do it. So like they would water the plant in its smaller pot, and then they water it like after they put it into the new soil, like before they cave in the soil. I assume they like water that too. And then once they put in the soil, they water it again. That seems like a whole lot of water. So I saw this other comment that was like, I keep it dry. They keep it dry first, and then they transplant it dry, and then after that they give it a huge good soaking. And that's the kind that I like to do, because they said that when you keep it dry, it like reduces the, you know, the weight on the roots. It makes it so the roots don't like stick to the soil and like come apart that easily. Or like even if it unsticks from the soil, it'll be undamaged because it's not wet and it's not like forced and stuck together and stuff to the soil. It doesn't adhere that way. I guess it's kind of like, it's like if I glued myself to an object, it would hurt more to pull apart from than if it was dry and next to that object. That's what it's like to water roots before transplanting. It's like glued to the soil, so if you pull it apart, you might just be hurting the plant. That's kind of my thought process too, why I don't want to be watering before, and why I only water it really, really good after. Because when you water it really, really good after, it's like really forgiving to the plant. The plant's like, oh, okay. I feel like the plant thinks if you water it a lot to help with the transplant shock, I feel like the plant feels like, oh, it was just a natural rain that displaced me, not a humongous, all insanely powerful human messing with nature, you know? Can't really see y'all from over there. Drive first makes more sense. Thanks for agreeing with me, Jamila. You and me together. I think you mentioned that you were a beginner before. So I'm glad that we agree on that as beginners. Do you part fertilize the up pots? Do you part fertilize the up parts? I always did to prevent shock, but that may not even matter. Let me try to unscramble that question inside my head. Do you part fertilize thing up pots? Like, when I transplant it into a bigger pot, do I partially fertilize it? I feel like the soil I use, do you partly fertilize the plants you part? Did you? The soil I use already has compost in it. Like, we use a lot of compost here. And compost is basically natural. It's as natural as fertilizer can get. Because this is like food scraps or like manure, literally broken down by bacteria. The stuff that would naturally be in your soil. So I never put like a NPK or whatever kind of fertilizer. I don't use that stuff for anything. I use just compost. And I just trust that the compost and the bacteria in it will, you know, balance itself out with the plant. Although, you know, if it's like a native plant, it might not help as much to put too much compost. So it's like, you know, give it what the plant would be used to. A lot of annuals and stuff, you give it compost, they'll love that stuff. Because they're designed to just take in everything. But more like the perennial stuff, that one I'm kind of like, actually that one I also give a lot, but be careful not to over fertilize. Because a lot of people over fertilize from what I've heard. Like, fertilizing every single year, like, that's crazy. That sounds crazy. How is your soil not naturally building up nutrients and stuff over the years that you wouldn't be able to get away with fertilizing less? That's what I think about. You should be designing your garden to recycle the nutrients on its own. Because I don't know, if you've like, I feel like, you know, people like used to live as foragers and hunter-gatherers. Like, look, those trees didn't need fertilizer and they always gave fruit and stuff for those people. We should be able to do the same thing. All right. I'm thinking of going home now. Okay, I see, thank you. I grow everything and anything. That's awesome. I think it's time to pull it all to a close. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jamila. Thank you, Running Red 54. Thank you, Growing Love. And Bella Cat for all, you know, saying something, talking to me, giving things to talk about. I love it when people ask me questions because I can always answer specific questions. But it's lunchtime, guys. It's probably not lunchtime for you all. Not in Belgium. Jackie, if you're in the Midwest. Actually, no. It would be like 2 to 3 hours before where I am right now. So yours might be a normal lunchtime right now. So enjoy your meal. All right. See you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for keeping me company. Oh, thanks, Kizmore. You too. Have a nice day.